Welcome to Wix Analytics Workshop. I'm your host, Brett Harrelson, and today we're going to be talking about making data-driven decisions with Wix Analytics and Reports. And joining us to talk about that is Doreen with Wix. Welcome, Doreen.
Hi.
Doreen, before we get into this, a lot of partners, the Wix Analytics and Reports, that was a new feature that was released, and it's super in-depth, and I know a lot of partners that are using that. But before we jump into that, will you tell us a little bit about you and what you do at Wix?
Sure. So hi and welcome everyone. So I'm Doreen. I'm a product manager in Wix Analytics, and I'm super excited to see you here. I work at Wix for more than 7 years now, mostly as a data analyst. I was part of many teams at Wix and also managed analytics groups. This year, when we decided to launch Wix Analytics, I jumped on the opportunity to not only provide Wix with the best tools to have insights, but our users. And over my years at Wix, I saw how data played a major role in helping Wix becoming what it is today. And I'm sure we can provide the same tools to our users.
Yeah, so Doreen, there's a lot there. The analytics and the reporting, and of course, then sort of kind of knowing how to parse the data and come up with something that's tangible. So this is a lot to cover. So my question to you is for those who are tuning in and watching this, what can we expect to take away from this workshop?
So maybe I'll present what we're going to cover today, and it will help us get a better understanding of what will be the takeaways. So first, I'm going to do a brief product overview where I'm going to tell you what we're going to cover today. Then I'll explain to you how you can get from this data to actual insights and provide it to your customers. Then I will share some of our future plans. And at the end, we will open it to Q&A.
This is a lot. I'm excited for this. This is a great agenda, and a great workshop. We have so many great workshops, and the partners have a lot of questions. So that's a great opportunity as we go through this. If the partners have questions, just drop them in the chat. Make sure you send to all panelists and attendees so everybody can see what you're asking, because sometimes that sparks good conversation. So Doreen, this is exciting. Let's start with where do we start? Product overview?
Yeah. So you can't really start a webinar these days without a quote. I'm kidding, but really I do believe in this sentence that without data, you're just a person with an opinion. And this is how we operate at Wix, for real. Like, we prioritize product features with data. We decide on which version won in an A/B test with data. We monitor our day-to-day business with data. And this is something we, again, wanted to give our users the same tools to do. This leads me to our vision, our Wix Analytics vision, which is allowing any Wix user to make quality data-driven decision for running a successful business or a community. So as I said, we'll start with a brief product overview. I want to show you what we launched so far. We'll start with a short video which shows the report capabilities.
Introducing Reports by Wix Analytics. Get valuable insights and turn them into business actions. With dozens of free, ready-made, customizable reports, plus the ability to create your own, you can make better data-driven decisions faster. Your business reports are presented according to key business parameters, such as sales, traffic, behavior, and people. Let's take a closer look at sales. Get an overview of your sales over time. Analyze your business trends, seasonality, and their effects so you can optimize your strategy accordingly. You can learn a lot by comparing your sales performance, for example, year over year. Plus, you can filter the reports according to the parameters that are most interesting for you. Now, let's take a look at traffic and behavior reports. Learn where your website visitors are coming from, which pages they are interested in, and where you lose them. Get the full picture of the people coming to your site. See how many people contacted you and who became a registered member. Measure loyalty trends and find out who your best and top paying customers are. The reports give you the flexibility to choose how you want to view your data. Choose from a line chart, table, bar chart, and more. You can trace back, compare, and filter your data. You can personalize all reports by duplicating and editing them, or create tailor-made reports here. Ready? Grow your business with Wix Analytics today.
That was great. So for those of you just joining us, that was a marketing video, just sort of encapsulating the product itself. So where do we jump into this from here, Doreen?
Oh.
And by the way, Doreen, I am one of your biggest fans because I use this a lot in with the partner community site. Just so you know, I use this extensively.
Yeah, I know. You have the most feature requests from all you. Okay, so this was a brief overview of our report capabilities, but I want to start first on what analytics you get first when you log into Wix. So when you log into Wix, you first see your dashboard, right? And we, as you probably noticed, we launched a new analytics dashboard, new analytics widget that has much more capabilities. It has near real-time data. It has various timeframes, including this week and this month. It has trend lines, so you can understand your performance even better. And you can customize which KPIs are shown from an extensive list of KPIs that keep on growing.
But this is really new. Like when did this get released? Like within a month or so?
Yeah, it was released in September gradually, and we just released it to languages.
So that's interesting. So a lot of partners may not even have seen this yet. So this is fantastic, and I like that you can customize it. So sorry, Doreen, I'm a fan. Like I told you. Go ahead. Sorry.
So you're gonna like this, which is our mobile dashboard widget, which probably most of you haven't seen because it's still on an A/B test. But this mobile dashboard widget is completely paired with our desktop widget, and it has the same capabilities, and you can just see the same analytics on the go.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, and because we're seeing amazing results, you'll probably see it available for everyone soon. Now, let's say I saw a KPI or a measure that interests me and intrigued me on the dashboard, and I clicked on it. If I click on it, I get to the overviews. The overviews are basically a collection of KPIs and visualizations that are supposed to give you, well, an overview of a specific topic. Currently, we have traffic overview, sales, and people, but we plan on adding more and more as we go. Now, let's say I was intrigued even more, and I wanted to investigate some more about my data. And this is where when I get to reports. And we have 28 ready-made reports across 6 categories and counting, since we're adding them really, really rapidly. And I know that we saw some of the reports capability in the video, but I want to walk you through the advanced features more closely. Okay. So one example that I can get to the overviews and the report is through clicking on a KPI in the dashboard. But I can also get there from my sidebar on the Analytics and Report tab, and then I get straight to reports. And now let's say I want to investigate more my sales over time. So by default, we show dates filtered to last 30 days. But if you want, you can customize the date and see some ready-made periods that we have, and you can also choose custom dates if you want. You can, by default, we also compare to previous period, but if you want, you can compare to last year or not compare at all. Here, I just changed the measure that is shown from revenue to orders, and I can choose from a list of measures to show quickly on the graph. What I can also do is see the data splitted by an interesting dimension. For example, here, if I click on the line chart split graph, I see my data split to new and returning customers. And I see that most of my revenue is coming from new users. I can also split by other dimension like payment method and see that most of my revenue is coming from credit card. Now, at the bottom of each report, we have an advanced mode. And basically advanced mode enables filters. You suddenly see here the more button, you can click on it and you see a long list of dimensions that you can filter upon. Now, let's say I want to filter on revenue coming from Californian customers. So I scroll down to the end and I filter billing region California and ta-da, I got it. So we talked a little bit about how you can slice and dice with the report in a sophisticated manner, but you can also take some actions with the report. One basic action is downloading the report. We offer 3 formats: CSV, Excel, and PNG. And it's also important to mention that you can download a table report, which most users choose, and then you can customize which columns you will download. Another cool action that you can take is subscribe to a report, and you can choose how often you will get it to your email and in which time. And in this way, you won't need to go to Wix in order to see your stats. You just get them straight to your email. And then we took it one step forward.
By the way, Doreen, I love that feature. So each week, just so you know, you don't even know this, but each week I actually have a report of everything that's happened on the partner community site that shoots me an email, and I can at a glance see it. I actually use that feature. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Juliet loves that too, by the way.
So if you like subscribe, you will probably like alerts because with alerts, you don't even need to monitor the data because we do it for you. It also was launched last week. And with alerts, we send you, whenever we detect there was a significant change, positive or negative, in your traffic or sales. We will also offer manual alerts, which I will talk about in the future plans. But this is super cool. So this was a brief overview of what we launched so far. And now I want to take you to, I think, the most interesting part on how to get from this data into insights, to understand what the data really means and give provide your customers with the insight. So for that, we're gonna have a real use case of a real user, anonymized, of course, from privacy reasons. And I chose to look at an office furniture store. It's a new site. It was launched only a month ago. And traditionally, it's a brick and mortar business that was founded over 40 years ago. According to its website, their customers are companies of all sizes, from startups to Fortune 500s. And they have few showrooms across the US, but they are headquartered in California. So let's start with the most basic question that comes to your mind when you're asking about analytics. And it is, who is their audience? And more plainly said, who is their traffic? So this is the traffic overview of this website. And I like to divide the questions of the overview to 2. One type of question is monitoring question, which is more like, how do traffic comparing to previous period? Which dates perform better or worse? What caused it? Which referral caused it? And this is more the upper part. The second part is the exploration part. And it's question like, when do visitors usually come to my site? Where are they coming from? And where are they located? So we're gonna start with the exploration questions and then move to the monitoring questions. So as I said, one of the most basic questions is, how do visitors reach me? And as we see here, most of the traffic of this website is coming from direct, which is on one hand a really good thing. It means the brand it has brand awareness. But on the other side, we see that social presence is really low. So what I would suggest to this site is to expand to more channels, some organic channels like social posts, and maybe use the Wix SEOs, because I don't see Google as a referral here. But also paid marketing like Facebook ads and Google ads.
And you know, something interesting here, Doreen, one of the things that we do a lot of times when we have webinars, roundtables and stuff that we do on YouTube, we've actually tracked the traffic from YouTube, because we'll redirect to the site. I can actually see how effective that is. And I don't know if a lot of partners do promotional videos and help their clients with YouTube and stuff like that. So that's also a great way to track it too. I just want to throw that out there.
Totally. So one other thing you can think of is, where are visitors located? And in this map, I see that most of the traffic of this website is coming from California, which makes sense because, as I mentioned, they're headquartered in California. But now that they're online, they can shift their mind a bit and maybe target more location across the US, because when you're online, it's easier. Another question that comes to my mind is, where do visitors usually come? And as we can see, this is a 14 days graph, and I can clearly see how they have weekly seasonality, where they peak on weekdays and they're slower on weekends. And on the bottom heat map, I see how traffic is condensed to weekdays. But I can also see it's mainly between 9 to 4 p.m., which again makes sense because it's a B2B. So what I would suggest this business is to advertise mainly during business hours, meaning they can increase their bids during business hours and win more traffic. In addition, they can add a blog post, which will help their SEO, which we discussed previously. But they can also post on Thursday and Friday mornings, which are their most popular times.
Doreen, can I tell you something? Within the community, you know, this is when we started this workshop, you kind of talked about how you can make data-driven decisions for your business and communities. And I want you to know that using Wix Analytics here, we know when the partners are spending the most time in the community, and we know and schedule our posts at prime times. It's really, it's interesting that you would say that you bring this up, because that's exactly what we do.
Yeah, sure. It's cool to hear. Okay, so we talked a bit about what is your traffic, and I think the next question for selling businesses is, who are your customers? And by customers, I mean paying customers. So you remember we previously saw the traffic by location, which showed that California is the biggest chunk of traffic. But this is sales by billing location report, where we see that Washington is quite a big circle here. And what I deduct from it is that conversion in Washington is high. And what I would suggest to this business is target Washington, because people there probably have high intent. Another question is, who are my best customers? So what I can see here, that though it's a new site, I already have some retention. I already have repeat purchases, repeat buyers. And I can also notice that my top buyers are not necessarily repeat buyers. And I could suggest this business, maybe they could offer coupons to one-time customers to convert them into returning customers, because obviously there's a retention potential here. They can also offer their returning customers a coupon over a certain order value in order to increase their average order value. Another interesting question, and one of our most popular report, is what are my best-selling products? And we see here two ways to see this data. But what we see on the above table, the two best-selling products are more than 50% of the revenue. And what I also noticed is the second revenue increased by 17% comparing to last week. So what I can offer this business is maybe they don't need to maintain such a big catalog. You don't see it here, but they have a huge catalog. And I guess it costs in storage. So maybe they can minimize the catalog. And in another thing I can tell is that they should be ready with enough inventory to support the recent trends of the second product.
Now, we do have a lot of questions, and I'm going to ask those towards the end, but let me ask you one right here, if you don't mind, Doreen. For example, let's take that second product. Is it possible to sort of parse the data and see which regions are purchasing what product? And I ask that for a very specific reason, because you may find that they're selling chairs, it seems. So if one chair is very popular, maybe in Washington, that could sort of give you the info to run a blitz ad or something like that. Is that possible?
Yeah, sure. And what you need to do for that is go to reports, to this report, to the sales by item, go to the advanced mode, as I explained previously, and then you can filter only California or whatever
Awesome.
to see only the sales there. So this was the part about exploration questions. We talked about how you can understand who is your traffic, what's the nature of it, and then we talked about paying customers and what's the nature of them, and are they different from the traffic. And now I want to talk about a little bit about monitoring and understanding your trends. And for that, I'm going to show a different example. So here we're going to start with the dashboard widget that we explored at first. So what I see here, that last 7 days for this business weren't that great. Site sessions, which is traffic, dropped by 25%, and sale dropped even more by 52%. And what I want to ask myself is, first, why did traffic decrease? And second, why did sale decrease even more? So I'm going to explore these questions one by one. So I have a few hypotheses. One, why did traffic decrease? It could be a specific referral that stopped bringing traffic for various reasons, like campaign fatigue or SEO. Or it could be just seasonality. Maybe we had a holiday this week in a major location, or maybe business is just slower at this time of year. So I'm going to click the site session, and I'm going to get to the traffic overview. And here, very quickly, I can see it's not a referral problem because the two main referrals decreased evenly. Regarding seasonality, I see this decrease is kind of even throughout the week. I see this week was slower, kind of evenly, but I want to investigate a bit deeper. So I go to the traffic overtime report. I change the period comparison from previous period to last year. And then I see that last year on October, I also had a similar decrease. So it's probably seasonality. Now I want to understand, why did my sale decrease more? And for that, I'm going to use only the dashboard widget without any report. I have a few hypotheses. One, did the unique visitor is the real thing that represents traffic, and I should be looking at unique visitors, and then I'll see the decrease? Or the traffic quality is lower, and I expect to see that in average order value, which will be lower, and average session duration. So I'm going to go ahead, click on customize, and add those KPIs to my dashboard to see them. And then what I see here, that unique visitors decrease similarly to site sessions. So it's not that. But I do see that average order value decreased by a lot, by 33%, and also average session duration decrease. So I guess this is a traffic quality problem. So this was a hell of a ride about what we did so far. And what you can do with what we provided you, and really provide value to your customers with those insights.
That's a lot, Doreen. I feel like we need a moment. I feel like we need a moment to let this wash over us. I mean, for a lot of partners who haven't used this, I think this is going to be solid gold, because this is the next layer of value and expertise you can really provide your clients and show them what's working, what isn't, what to focus on. It sort of puts you in a much better position with your clients. This is awesome. So I'm excited about this. So we do have a lot of questions, and I'm going to jump to those in just a second, Doreen, if you'll stay with us. I know you will. You love us. So as far as future plans, this is exciting. So show us what is cooking.
Yeah. So I'm going to share it with you, but it's for your eyes only, and I trust you. No one has seen it yet. So this is our future plans. We have in the reports facade, we're planning on adding many new reports. First and foremost, we're going to add campaigns, and you will be able to see your data by campaign. And you will also be able to see conversion, which I know many users are waiting for. We're also going to add the dedicated reports for Wix blog, Wix events, stores abandoned cart, and Wix restaurants, and more. Regarding the tools I mentioned before, we're going to have manual alerts. And by manual alerts, I mean, you could decide that you want to get an alert every time your sales drop from $500 a day. Or you can decide you want to get an alert whenever traffic is 30% higher. So you will be able to do that really soon. We'll have a report helper, which you'll have at the side of each report, you have, well, a helper that will provide you with some data and will help you better understand what you're seeing, what are your options, and what insights you can gain from it. We will have email digest, which will be a monthly email, which will be straight to you'll summarize all your activity for last month. We will have insight, which will try to provide what I did today. We will also have predictions, which will try to predict your future performance, and many more. I just want to say that we've achieved all that in less than half a year. So stay tuned, because many more things are coming. So
y'all have been busy, Doreen. Y'all have been busy.
Totally.
A lot of people are really excited, specifically about the abandoned carts. I think, you know, we've done it with stores. We've talked a lot about that, and that's a huge lead for potential customers. So a lot of partners picked up on that and really like that. So we have a lot of questions. And if you came late, or if you've been here for most of the time and you want to ask a question, now's the time to start dropping them. I already have some. So Doreen, I'm about to start rapid firing, but I also remind everybody that this is recorded, and we're going to drop a link into the forum so you can see it. And also an email will be sent with a link as well. So we'll make sure everybody gets to watch this afterwards. Okay. And thank you. We just dropped that. Let's start here. And there's a lot of great ones. I'm going to jump real quick to Lorraine, one that Lorraine asked. When you're pulling some of these reports, is it possible to put in custom dates for those reports?
Yeah. So as I showed, you can choose whatever period that you like. You just click on the dates and you choose custom period. You can choose whatever. We offer predefined periods, but you can also have custom dates.
Perfect. So here's another great question Benjamin asked. Can you forward email directly to clients, or when someone uses the notification to get an email, can you configure that, or where does that report go?
You mean on the subscribe?
On the subscribe, correct? Yes.
Yeah. So currently it's not available, but we are thinking of adding this feature soon, where you can add recipients, probably from your list of admins on your site.
Understood. Makes a lot of sense. So another question that Lorraine asks, can you export these reports?
Yeah. Totally. Again, you can see it in the recorded session where we have report actions on the top right of the menu, where you can download your report. We have 3 formats: CSV, Excel, and PNG, and you can download it to your computer.
Thank you. Thank you a lot for that, Doreen. And thank you, Lorraine. Another question, and I'm rapid firing these. So if you do have questions, now's the time to ask. Vinesh asks a really good question. And I think this one, we may want to elaborate a touch on this one. He asks, is this a substitution for Google Analytics? And I think there's a broader answer here. So what's your viewpoint on that, Doreen? How does this augment, or does it replace, or just augment?
I think that it's just more. You can get more out of Wix. We have all your data, the most accurate one, and it's one source of truth. So I find it more convenient to look just at Wix. If there are any features that we're missing and preventing users from moving to analytics, we will add them. But currently, I'm not aware of such.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Doreen. And thank you, Vinesh, for the question. Another question, Faye asks, and I think I saw Yoel also ask this earlier about, is the advanced mode for these reports paid or free?
No, it's completely free.
So that's exciting. And Lorraine asks, will this be available only to partners or all users?
This is already available to all users.
That's great. These are really great questions. And I think most of the questions were answered. Doreen, I love where this is going in the future, and the abandoned cart's exciting. And I've got to tell you, I use this extensively. I'm one of your #1 users for this. You can see a lot of what's going on. I can see where the traffic's coming from. And actually, sort of to piggyback on what Vinesh was asking, I actually use Wix Analytics in conjunction with Google. Like I can see the traffic that Google's bringing in versus search terms. But within my analytics, I can actually see what people are doing within the site, and there's a different statistical number that Wix Analytics provides. So I think it's fantastic, Doreen. I'm going to take just a couple more questions. They're coming in, so give me just a second to sort through these. Let's see. That's a great question. That's a great question. That's a great question, Paxton. I may just grab that one. So I'm going to take that a different direction, Paxton. That's a complicated question. I'm going to circle back on that one, Paxton. So let's go to, I want to ask you a question, and I get this a lot in the community. I know you'll know the answer. When we're talking about analytics, specifically data analytics, what effect does some of the GDPR settings and cookie settings, what kind of settings might sort of trigger that? And if someone does not want to have their data tracked, or they don't accept the cookies, how does that affect the analytics?
So if someone doesn't want to have his data tracked, so it also naturally won't appear in analytics. So it's compliant with GDPR.
Yes, and Steve, that was a great question, and I definitely wanted to tackle that because I do see that come up quite a bit in the community. Will you be adding any, John asked a good question here, will you be adding any functionality around keyword searches?
We're planning to add, we thought about it, but it will take some time.
Okay. So there's a lot of great questions here, and we could probably do this for another hour. Analytics is such a broad spectrum, and there's so much you can do here. So I just want to say thanks for everybody that's coming in. And Doreen, I know you've got busy. You did this in 6 months, so we don't want to take too much of your time. But perhaps we could keep this conversation going in the forum. Shayla, if you'll drop the link real quick, and maybe if we can have extra eyes on that, we can continue the conversation and maybe ask some questions and answer some questions. So Thank you so much, Shayla. And Doreen, I want to say thanks for you coming and spending your time here. And thanks, partners, for coming to this workshop. This has been really amazing, and this is exciting.
Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you for coming, Doreen. Be safe, be well, and we'll see you out there, guys. Thanks.
Bye.